Okay, so here we are starting the border. You're going to crochet now in rounds around the whole of the blanket and using yarn A, which for me is the cream. And we start in the top right hand corner of the blanket, which for me is this particular square. So you join your yarn by pulling it through in the corner space, and you do a 1 chain, which I'm going to do with the tail, and then into, we also do we do a 1 chain there just to really give us a little bit of depth. That doesn't count as a stitch. Then we're going to work a double crochet. This is a UK double crochet, by the way. 2 chains and another UK double crochet into that corner. Then, starting right in the very first stitch, I need to work 40 double crochets along this first square. So the squares are fairly routine, aren't they, in size, or they should be if you've finished them all to the right size. So some of the squares are going to have 40 double crochet and others will have 55, and that doesn't include the ones that you're going to work into where the corners have been joined here of the squares. So I'm going to let you finish working up to here, to your final stitch. Then we're going to do a quick stitch count across there, make sure we've got the 40 stitches that we need, and then I'll come back and just show you how I'm going to work into those. So we'll be back in a moment with this next little bit. So here we are at where 2 of the squares join. So you need to find the corner space and work a double into there, and then miss these and work another double into the corner space of the one at the other side. So there and there, and then immediately you're back into doing double crochets across this section. Now here is where I finished a round on another one, so you've got to make sure you pick up a stitch from there and a stitch for this one, and then you're back into there. So make sure that you've got a full stitch for each one. It's quite easy to either lose or gain little extras here, so just work very carefully across. This middle one is one of the longer ones, so you need to do 55 stitches there, and then another bit where the 2 corners of meet, and then another 40 to take you to that corner. Okay, we'll come back in a moment and I'll just show you the corner for anybody who's just not 100% sure, and then we'll crack on with the rest of this round. Okay, so I'm at my first proper corner. So as we mentioned before, for the corner it's 1 double crochet, 2 chains and 1 double crochet, and that's it for that particular corner. Don't forget to start working in that very first stitch. It's really easy to miss that first stitch, and find then that you've only got 39 stitches where you should have 40, because it does affect the following rows. So there we go, that's your corner there. So I'm going to finish the whole way around this blanket, and then we'll pick up for round 2. Okay, so we've come to the end of round 1 and I've slip stitched to the top of the first stitch of the previous round. You should have, along the top and the bottom, you should have 141 stitches with the 2 chain corner space as well, and along the sides you should have 168 stitches. So that's just something to come in for later when we start doing the more patterned part of it. So we're now going to turn the work so that the back is facing us, and we're doing a chain of 3, and that counts as your first treble, and then we're going to work 1 treble into each stitch along this side. So that's a UK treble. So it's a wrap in, grab, back through, wrap through 2, wrap and through 2. So you're basically going to do trebles all the way along the side. With each corner you're going to work 2 trebles, 2 chains and another 2 trebles for every corner. So work all the way around, and then when you get back to here you work that again here. So we'll come back when we've done most of it and just come back to show you the corner, but I don't think you really need to watch me do a lot of trebles. So just take your time, enjoy it. It's a nice easy round to do, and there's no need to sort of rush at this stage. You don't want to spoil anything by trying to work too fast and not being neat and thorough. Okay, we'll see you again shortly with the end of the round. So I'll just do a quick corner demo just for the people who need it. So I'm at the first corner there, and I'm going to work 2 trebles and then 2 chains and then another 2 trebles, all into that corner. So there you go, hopefully you can see that nice and clearly. So that's what you're aiming for on your corners, and then you just pick up again and start writing your first stitch and work down. Okay, see you again shortly. Okay, so for round 3 you turn the work again so that the right side is facing, and then work a chain of 3 and then a treble into each of the first 2 stitches, and then for the corners it's 2 trebles, 2 chains and another 2 trebles, and then you're back to working trebles all the way along the sides. So you're going to work all the way down here and then to the next corner and do the same again. So if you keep going, make sure that you do a quick stitch count at the end and that you've got your 149 along the top and the bottom and 176 along the sides, and that way you'll have enough for when we start doing the slight patterning on the rows following these. Okay, we'll see you again shortly. Okay, so we're right at the end here and we've done a slip stitch to join, and at this point you need to fasten off, because when we restart we're going to be restarting in one of the corners, and from this point on it's recommending that you don't detach your main yarn, your A yarn. So for me that's the cream, but at the moment for this bit it is actually easiest and neatest to fasten off. So that's the end of round 3 and we'll be back shortly with round 4. Okay, so at the end of round 3 we did fasten off, because for round 4 we're going to take yarn A and join back into the first corner. Now on this, for the next few rounds, every other round is going to be done in yarn A, and it's recommended that you don't actually fasten off at the end of the rounds in yarn A. You keep it, and in order to keep it safe you actually thread the whole of the ball through the final loop. So I will show you that at the end, just in case there's any newer people who are not 100% sure what I mean by that. But for this one, so round 4 we've rejoined into the corner at the top right of the blanket, and you then do a chain of 5, and that counts as a treble and 2 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do a treble into the same space. The chain space is in the corner to create a corner. Then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to miss 5 stitches. Now that one starts for me right there in that corner. Just try and move that little piece there. So I'm going to start with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we work a treble into each of the next 4 stitches, and it does kind of try and wrap round a little bit, does your yarn there, so just be careful doing that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to keep repeating that. We're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to miss 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to treble into the next 4, 2, 3, 4, chain of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, miss 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and work a treble, 4 trebles, one into each of the next 4 stitches. You're going to repeat this virtually all the way to the other end, really. So you'll do it 16 times in total, and then there's some additional corner instructions, so we'll come back to those in a moment, but that's what you're aiming for at the minute. So don't worry if it feels slightly loose, etc. there. When we come to work the next section in, it will all even itself out. So I'll see you at the first corner in a moment. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the first corner, and to keep the theme going of what we're doing, we do a chain of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're doing 1 treble, 2 chains, and another 1 treble into the corner. We then do a chain of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we miss 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we work into that 6th one, and we're doing 4 in this little group in total. So we're now repeating the same thing down the side. I'll just check it. I feel like I've got something different there. That's it. Yeah, we're doing it 19 times. I knew there was a slight change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Miss 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is. It's exactly the same. Don't know why I thought that was going to be different. So, okay, we'll pause it there and we'll join you at the next corner. Okay, so we've got right to the final corner here, and as mentioned before, we then make this loop really, really big after taking the hook out, and if you pull that fairly tight, that secures it. Don't cut that off. That can then be carried forward just up neatly behind the next row, but it secures it there so that things don't start pulling back and you don't have to worry about slip stitching anything anywhere or doing anything fancy. So that's the end of round 4, and we'll be back in a moment with round 5. Okay, so round 5 is where we start to introduce other colours. For me, the yarn B is Sage, so I'll be joining Sage in a minute. Now, rounds 5 to 19, you are crocheting in the rows below. So we'll go through each one individually. And with these, there will be obviously some chains and some missed stitches. You need to make sure all these chains always end up at the back of the work there. So you'll always be working in front of them. And so that's where I finished off the last round. And when you start working the colours, you're told to work diagonally opposite. So start in the one that's diagonally opposite. So if that was the corner I finished on, I'm then going to go across, miss the next corner, and then work my way all the way across the blanket and to the other one. So if you might find it easy just to lay it down on the table or the floor. So you're going diagonally opposite. And then, if I can now find the end of this yarn, it's getting quite heavy now, so try not to have it slipping off me. So we're joining yarn B into the corner chain space, and we're doing a 1 chain, which is just to anchor it. It's not counting as a stitch. And then we're doing 1 double crochet. Remember, that's a UK double crochet, and a 2 chain and another double crochet into that corner, and that just gives us a corner to then work into on the next round. Then we do a 2 chain, and we're going to miss that stitch, and we're going to work a treble into each of the missed stitches of the row below. Struggling with my words this morning. So we're doing a treble into each of the next 5 stitches, making sure the chain stays at the back. So I suppose in a way it's the mosaic treble coming in again, isn't it? For that one, that's 3, 4, 5. I've definitely stayed with the smaller hook for this, so I'm on the 4mm hook. Don't think it's particularly specified to change from that, so I'm thinking this will keep it a little bit tighter and neater for the edging. You don't want to end up with a floppy edging on this, it wouldn't look great. So then we chain 5, 3, 4, 5. You miss your 4 stitches and start working into that next one, and again it's 5 trebles. So, oops, lost tension on my yarn then. So that's basically what you are going to be doing all the way around. So we've got these sets of 5 trebles and then a 5 chain, miss your 4 stitches, and then 5 trebles. Keep going to your corners. The corners are all worked in the same way of 1 double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet into your corners. So go all the way around and we'll attach at this point. Okay, you can fasten off because each time I believe we're going to be actually changing yarn colours. The cream we don't fasten off, but the colours we do. Okay, so I'll crack on with this round and then we'll pop back at the end and just show you how we're looking. So enjoy that, take your time, don't rush it, and make sure you've got a nice neat edging. We'll see you again shortly. Okay, so just show you how to do the corners. So we've got 2 chain, then you're missing this stitch, and then you are doing 1 double crochet, 2 chain and 1 double crochet into the corner. Then you'll need to do 2 chain, and then we pick up with the 5 trebles into that row below. So I will just do that little bit, and then I'll hold it nice and close to the camera for you so that you can see where I am. Okay, that's what you need to end up with at that point. So you've got your 2 chain, you've got your double crochet, 2 chain, double crochet, 2 chain to miss this stitch, and then 5 trebles. So that's how your corners want to look. Okay, we'll join you again at the end of the round. Okay, so we're right back at the beginning, and I've slip stitched to join there, right at the very end. So we then, with this colour, we won't be using it again, so we're going to fasten it off. And I'm going to sew the ends in, and what you should have now down the sides are 17 groups of 5 trebles on the top and the bottom, with chain spaces obviously in between, and then 20 groups of 5 trebles down the side edges, and not forgetting you'll have your corners in there too. So we'll finish off there, and we'll join you again shortly in round 6. Okay, round 6. So we're back with the cream. So I've gone back to that opposite corner where the cream was fastened off but not cut, and you need to rejoin it into the corner space. So I've literally, with how it's finished off there, that's the tiniest loop there, I've pulled that through the 2 chain space on my green round, and then I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That counts as a treble and 2 chains, and then I'm going to do 1 more treble into that corner space. Oops. There we go. Then 2 chains, and in the style of the mosaic treble I'm missing this one, and then I'm going to work a treble into the cream one of the row below, or the row that was worked first. And then, so that's the corner, we're moving away from the corner. Then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and as before we missed the 5 stitches, and we're going to work trebles into the 4 stitches, the 4 cream stitches next. Oops, what's going on there? Tell you what, we'll start that one again. That just got a little bit crazy. So pull that through. Don't know why it's pulling so tight. Maybe my tension's just a bit tight. That's better. So that's what you want. 2 and 2. That's it. So I've got my 4 UK trebles in there, and then as before you carry on, chain of 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. You miss your 5 stitches, your 5 green stitches, and work into the 4 cream ones, making sure that all these threads stay at the back, all these little chains stay at the back. So work your way across to the corner, and I will come back in a minute and just pick this up for you just before the next corner. But that's what you should be aiming for to start with on this one. So you've got that gap and that space there. So work across to the other corner, and we'll do a quick demo of the corner in a minute. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the first corner. I've done my chain of 6, and then we're missing all these stitches, but we're just working 1 treble. Into that one. Then we need to do another 2 chain, and we miss this stitch, and again we're going to be working into the corner, so that's 1 treble, 2 chains, and 1 more treble, like so for your corner. Then a chain of 2 and a treble into the cream stitch on that row below, and then you're back to your chain of 6 and working 4 trebles into the 4 cream stitches. So you're then just carrying on as before down the side. So there's your 4, and that's how your corner needs to look. Okay, I'll let you crack on with those and we'll meet you at the end of the round. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 6, and you should have finished with a final treble into this stitch and then a 2 chain, and then you slip stitch into the 3rd, oops, grab the yarn then, into the 3rd chain of that set that you did originally, the set of 5. So that's what you need to end up with at the end. Remember what we said about you don't actually cut the yarn on this, you grab the ball, bring it through, and then when you've pulled that yarn through and tightened it, and that just secures it there. Don't fasten off, you'll use it again in the next cream round that you do. So we'll be back again in a moment with round 7. Okay, so round 7 starts in the corner chain space that's diagonally opposite again from where you finished with the cream or the black, depending on which you're making. Join this in, and we need to do a 1 chain, which doesn't count for anything, it's just there to anchor it. I'm just going to pull that slightly this way. Okay, then we, as we've done before, we do a double, 2 chains, and another double crochet, then 2 chains. We're going to work a treble into the green stitch of the row below, like so, then another 2 chains, miss this white stitch or cream stitch, and then we're going to work 5 trebles into the green for me. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, so that's how you'd look at that point. Then it is a chain of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. We miss the 4, for me the cream stitches, for you it might be the black, and then we do another 5 trebles. So I think from that you can see where you need to be going and how it works, because it's very similar to the rows we've done before. So that's what you're going to be looking for on this particular round. So I'll join you again in a moment at the first corner just to make sure you're happy with that, and then we'll carry on. Okay, see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are at the corner. I've done my 5 trebles, then it's 2 chain and 1 treble into the green stitch, and 2 chain, and then you work the corner, so you're missing the cream one but working into the corner, so that's a double, 2 chain and another double, and then 2 chain working into the green stitch, 2 chain, and you're back into working into your sets of 5. so that's trebles again, into the block of 5 green stitches. So there you go. If I just hold that out for you. That's how you should look there. So you've got your 2 chain, your treble into that lower green stitch, 2 chain, then your corner, which is a double, 2 chains and a double, 2 chains to miss this one, a treble, 2 chains, and then back into your sets of 5 trebles. Okay, we'll see you at the end of the round. Okay, so here we are right at the end with the final 2 chain there, and then our little slip stitch to join. Oops, just struggling with that bit of yarn. And that's how you finish for the end of round 7. So we'll pause there for a moment and we will join you again for round 8. Okay.